Yes, lads, we're back. The 318 picks are coming out hot and fast. I thought I'd get them done here pretty early. Everything I wanted is now out. I'm waiting for the certain lines and parlay picks to come out because this is going to be a short episode. Otherwise, there's not a lot of picks in my genuine opinion. It's quite a weak card for an MMA legend like Dustin Poirier in his last fight. Last week, I'm very upset that the last week's episode didn't get many views. I understand the card wasn't very good, but we made an absolute fucking killing. We made, I think it was close to 325, 330. I did, and I think if you followed everything in the video, you probably would have been up about 150, 160 quid. Of course, the lock lands Walter Walker with another heel hook. Standard stuff. Taco Tonko submits Junior Taffa. I said Junior Taffa's terrible. I couldn't understand people picking him. It didn't make any sense to me. The man is possibly one of the worst mixed martial artists I've ever seen get into the UFC. That man would have looked out of his depth at UFC 1. Never mind, a fight night in Tennessee. Wonderboy was robbed, and you can never doubt Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis, I told you, he would come in there, boom bang from the hip, finish him pretty quick. But look, enough of my self-glaze and enough of my sucking my own knob. Let's just get down to the lock of the week.
Dustin the Diamond Poirier!
Yes, lads. So the lock of the week, I'm actually going to be 100% honest and completely clear here. The lock of the week actually changed. I changed the lock of the week. I was going to put Patricio Pitbull here. He's still in the underdog, so he will come up. But if you're giving me 11 to 10 on Dustin, I'm not going to say no. The man's 2-0 against Holloway. He's one of the slickest boxers we've ever seen in the sport. He's going out in the main event. That doesn't happen a lot in MMA, and especially not in the UFC. I think this is the first time in a very, very long time I've seen someone go out at the top. He's going, he said, fuck it, sayonara, he's out, and I don't blame him. I think, even if it's a close fight, Louisiana, it's back, close to his hometown, it's in New Orleans, they'll more than likely give it to him. I think he will clearly show that the Gaethje fight was a bit different. I think Dustin will start to land with volume and a lot more pace and speed, and with a lot more power, where Max will start to shell. I don't think we're going to see a clear Max. Watch their first or second fight inside this trilogy, and this is exactly how I think this fight's going to go. I think Dustin outworks him, hits him with stronger shots, and just has more speed in the feet. There won't be much grappling. I think Dustin is one of the slickest boxers we've ever seen in the sport. There's no reason to say otherwise. I think he takes out Max. 5-rounder. I'd say 48-46 Dustin. I'm going to throw 50 quid in the diamond. That's what I'm going to do. Last fight of the man ever. I think he takes it home. But look, we'll go get into the favourites. Okay, look, I'll actually let you in another secret. None of the graphics for this are actually made yet, so I'm everything down. Kevin Holland is almost on the road to make UFC history. This is his 4th appearance in the same calendar year. He'll probably put 6 or 7 on the board if there's no injuries. I think this fight will be pretty simple for him. I don't think there's any real way of any MMA match I can throw in my head that D-Rod's going to do anything. D-Rod looked geriatric in his last fight. He just luckily fought Ponzinibbio. The Argentinian dagger was able to finish him. If I'm being honest, I think Kevin Holland comes in here and starches him first round, doesn't take too much damage. I think a submission, personally, I think those long limbs of Kevin Holland at 170, when he's fully motivated, he is a demon. I think he comes in here, staunches Rodriguez on the feet, catches D-Row with a big one, drops him. Guillotine, or maybe like an anaconda, something on those lines, the exact same way he got Luis Vicente Luque. I think he hits D-Rod here. Next we go on to Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann's fighting Lucas Bresky at heavyweight. Now, Lucas Bresky is a really, really strange one because he has a win over Walter Walker, but then has been finished in his last 2 and hasn't gone out the first round. I think this happens again. I think personally Spann catches him on the feet, knocks him down, and actually submits him as well. There is going to be another piece, so I have kind of spoiled this, but yeah, you know what, I'm not even going to make it into another piece. I'm going to put it right here, right now. Kevin Holland and Ryan Spann, 11-1, sub-double, and that's what I'm going to pick. I think that Ryan Spann gets him down and submits him. I think Ryan Spann puts either that guillotine that he has, or maybe like a front neck choke, like a front like necktie or something like that, or maybe an anaconda, because he is ridiculously good at like the guillotine that he has. His guillotine's fucking really, really solid. I think there's a good chance of that. I definitely think he can knock down Lucas Bresky. It's been very proven that his chin's fucked. I think he had one more, he's out of the UFC. Simple as that. I don't think the UFC are going to waste their time on him anymore. Next we'll go into Vinicius Oliveira. Now Vinicius Oliveira is fighting Kyler Phillips. I remember there was a lot of hype fighting Kyler Phillips before the Rob Font fight. I just think Kyler Phillips looked slow in that fight. He kind of showed his age. He didn't really move on the feet or throw with speed in that fight, and that's why Rob Font was just overwork him. And first 5 rounder for him, he wasn't really used to it. Back at 3 rounds, I do think this is an extremely hard test from Vinicius Oliveira. I think Vinicius Oliveira outworks him. There's a possibility of a finish. There is. I won't rule it out, but I'll play it safe and say that Vinicius Oliveira just uses grappling exchanges. I think he can grapple, kind of take him down, but then grapple to more of a dominant position, get back up and still kind of get the shots off on the feet. I don't think it's going to be exactly interesting. I go with a 30-27 personally, Vinicius Oliveira. I think he just shuts out Kyler Phillips completely. And we go into Abu Gutier, I think that's how you say his name. Like, he's fighting Robert Valentin, and Robert Valentin has lost all kind of stock with me after his fight with Terence Finney, where he literally didn't do anything and got picked up by a lad who was like 7 inches shorter than him. So, if I have to be realistic, I can just see Gutier coming in here and finishing him in the first round. Like, you can see his power against Jose. If Jose didn't have that weird Bolivian super chin, he would have been finished pretty quickly. I don't think Robert Valentin's going to show too much difference here. He doesn't really have much of a wrestling game or a grappling game. I don't think Gutier has a grappling game at all, but I just think Gutier will be able to stay on the feet for long enough to hit big strikes and finish him pretty quickly. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Look, we'll move into the underdogs now. The underdogs, I'm going to pick 3. Patricio Pitbull is the first one. As I said, he was going to be locked, but I switched it. Personally, to me, Patricio Pitbull is an interesting one because he did get Yair Rodriguez in his first fight, and I don't think he looked too bad against Yair. To be honest, I don't think he looked bad against him at all. I think it's one of those ones where people kind of look at it like it should be kind of disheartened that he didn't do something against top 5 and now fighting for the belt. I don't think that's the right move. To me, Dan Ige, unfortunately, is someone that can't push into the top 15. If you look at his record, he loses to almost everyone in the top 15. He's able to beat the likes of Ander Filio, Sean Woodson, people who are close to the top 15 but can't get it. He's the ultimate gatekeeper. He just can't break over like the 14-15 mark, and I don't think that's going to change. I think Patricio Pitbull will be over to outwork him, keep out of Dan. Like, being honest, Dan Ige is really dangerous because of the power. Obviously, 50k. He's dangerous because of the power, but if you can avoid the power and keep him more in the back foot and grapple with him a lot more and be able to wrestle him, because they're 2 things Dan's not good at, you will beat him pretty easily. And I don't think Patricio Pitbull will mess this one up. I think he'll just put up a very, very safe game plan, a lot of grappling, a lot of wrestling, maybe still with danger on the feet. He's definitely going to be more mobile than Patchy Mix. I'm just going to pick it because I think Patricio Pitbull has fought the higher level of quality. I think he's another one to kind of give Dan a trouble. I think he is probably a top 10 featherweight at the minute, so I'll pick Patricio Pitbull in that one. Next, we're going to Marvin Vettori. Marvin Vettori's fighting Brendan Allen. Now, Marvin Vettori's a weird one, because if we get Marvin Vettori to fought Roman Delodze, where he just basically stood in front of him for a boxing match and just got his head boxed off for 5 rounds, or he didn't really throw much back, we'll be in trouble. But I don't think that's going to happen. Brendan Allen is quite bad if he can't get someone down to the mat, and that is one thing about Marvin Vettori, is that he has a crazy takedown defense that I've never really understood. He's kind of like Wonder Boy. He just seems to have like a mad center of gravity that's hard to take him down. He like always is able to stay on his feet. He has unreal balance. I do think Marvin Vettori will stay on his feet. I think Marvin Vettori will outland Brendan Allen, and I think he'll take a 29-28. I think the grappling's Brendan Allen's, but I do think Vettori can shut it down a bit, and I think he'll be able to land more effective strikes within the rounds just to take it back to 15 minutes. I'll take Marvin Vettori in that sort of instance. And then we finish off with Paulo Costa. We finish off with the Secret Juice man. Now, it's weird to set up Paulo Costa's in a co-main in 2025, and then I'm tipping Paulo Costa, but I have been harsh on Paulo Costa. You know what? I was thinking about this in my head, and I was thinking of the Weidman fight, like that's the only fight he's won in nearly 2 years. But if we're being honest, that Robert Whittaker fight, he had his moments. He has some great success against Robert Whittaker in that fight. It's more, you know, he just didn't really do enough and Robert Whittaker took over because that's the way Whittaker is. But I still thought he landed some big strikes and had Whittaker on the back foot and definitely put up a few. I don't think Roman Kopylov is exactly indestructible. He's only really realistically beaten Chris Curtis with that head kick, which was a poor stoppage. You would have won the decision anyways, but it was a poor stoppage. I have to be honest here, I can see Paulo Costa with MMA match landing something big on Kopylov and changing the distance of a fight and maybe around the second round and then just be able to take the third. I do think he'll lose the first, but I have a feeling he'll be able to land a big strike in the second and change the distance of the fight. The grappling's definitely Kopylov's, but Paulo Costa's a strange one to where he doesn't really get taken down. He can get grappled, but he can usually switch positions. I understand he's been a bit more of a meme account on Twitter, but that power is still there. And I do believe that there's going to be a big strike from Costa coming to change the direction of this fight. Definitely. I did want to add in a KO, or KO play, like a travel play. So what I'm thinking is we go with Renan Ferreira, Gaultier, and Islam Dualov. He's fighting in the 10 thing. It should bring back close to odds of 5-1. I'll have a fiver on that. I think that's the right move. And as I said, Span and Holland, double sub, 11-1. They're the two doubles that I'm going to give. Now, let's get down to the ACA. So here we are with the ACA. I already have it made. I have money in the account because I already won something today. So look, obviously Brian Span, Vinicius Oliveira, Kevin Holland, Gaultier, 10 on, 34 back. Actually great odds for the stuff. But anyways, if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button. I will obviously be back for these. I probably won't be able to do a live reaction because I actually don't think I'll be here when this card's on. But anyways, if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button or hit subscribe and I'll see you next time. Peace.